Hey, what's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike is here, and we are in season 4 of award season reviews, counting down to the 98th Academy Awards with 98 reviews in 98 days. Quick reminder before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single day. Today, we are wrapping up our 10th theme week, BAFTA week. All week, we've been looking at the films that are nominated for at least one BAFTA, the British equivalent of the Oscars, and possibly more. Final BAFTA voting happens now for a couple more days, closes on the 17th. So if you are on the voting committee for the BAFTAs, hopefully these reviews have helped you make some of your choices. For the final episode, I am talking about one of the top 10 box office films of 2025, Universal Pictures' live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. Directed by Dean DeBlois, who directed the original film, and written by DeBlois based on the original screenplay that he wrote alongside Will Davies and Chris Sanders, and based on the novel by Cressida Cowell. The film released last summer, where it flew into the heights. Sorry, I promise there will not be a lot of high-flying dragon puns. I'll keep this one a little quicker in the summer because I feel so many people are familiar with it. Life in the Viking village of Berk is defined by constant dragon attacks, and proving oneself in battle is just a way of life. Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III, played by Mason Thames, the awkward and inventive teenage son of the village's imposing chieftain, Stoick the Vast, played by Gerard Butler, giving life to the character he once voiced, struggles to fit into a culture that values brute strength over cleverness. Determined to show he belongs, Hiccup throws himself into dragon fighting training, even as his instincts and his so-called peers, Astrid, played by Nico Parker, Snotlout, played by Gabriel Howell, Fishlegs, played by Julian Dennison, and the twins Rough Nut and Tough Nut, played by Bronwyn James and Harry Trevaldwyn, tell him that there might be another way forward. During one fateful encounter outside of the village, Hiccup comes face to face with a rare and mysterious dragon, whom he names Toothless. Instead of following through of what's expected of him, he makes a choice that changes everything. As Hiccup secretly learns more about dragons, his growing understanding begins to clash with Berk's long-held beliefs, even as his performance in training unexpectedly improves. Caught between loyalty to his father, the expectations of his peers, and a truth that no one else is ready to hear, Hiccup finds himself at the center of a much larger conflict. With friendships forming, suspicions rising, and the threat to Berk growing ever more urgent, How to Train Your Dragon reintroduces a familiar story about courage, empathy, and choosing a different path, this time through a live-action lens. We are very much living in the age of unnecessary live-action remakes, and I feel like I've harped on it so many times, which again made me hesitant to go into this. That said, this version of How to Train Your Dragon does manage to capture much of the charm that made the original resonate in the first place. Beyond the spectacle, the film smartly reintroduces its core themes of acceptance and confronting prejudice, ideas that remain just as relevant now as they were then, perhaps even more so now in our current climate. And there's real value in presenting this story to a whole new generation, reminding younger audience that, fear often comes from misunderstanding and that empathy can be a powerful force for change. Mason Thames is genuinely delightful and the perfect casting for Hiccup, bringing that wide-eyed sincerity that echoes the animated character without making it feel like an exact carbon copy. He embodies an outsider learning to trust his instincts, and that emotional through line carries the film. The action sequences are often exhilarating, and look, I will say it, seeing the dragons rendered alongside live actors gives the aerial moments a new sense of scale and immediacy, which I remember being very impressed with on the IMAX screen. Gerard Butler's return to the franchise is especially effective. He brings authority and warmth in equal measure, and his chemistry with Thames makes the father-son relationship feel very lived in and emotionally grounded. The film does struggle at times with its remake identity. While a handful of scenes and dialogue beats are updated, smoothing out moments that don't particularly age well from the original, and just a few things to clarify plot points. Largely the story, it's pretty much beat for beat a remake, which limits its ability to surprise. Visually, though, the craftsmanship, it's undeniable. Bill Pope's cinematography gives Berk a sweeping mythic quality, not surprising given his impressive resume of action films. Lindsay Pugh's costume design clearly reflects Viking influences, as does Dominic Watkins' production design, Daniel Burt's set decoration. It's beautiful to look at. John Powell's score, expanding on his original, once again does a lot of the emotional heavy lifting. Dean DeBlois' care for the material, it's evident in every frame, and we clearly see why, Universal had him do this and bringing back a lot of the repeat, folks. While the film ultimately plays things safe, it succeeds as a respectful reintroduction, one that preserves the heart of the story and passes the lessons on to a new generation. Okay, let's talk box office and awards. Sitting at number 8 for the year of 2025, How to Train Your Dragon made $262,958,100 domestically and added an additional $373,393,048 internationally for a worldwide take of $636,351,148. Critically, from 261 reviews, the film has a 77% on the tomato meter, and from over 10,000 audience reviews, the film is almost perfect with a 97% on the popcorn meter. Award season-wise, the film is currently nominated for 1 BAFTA award, Best Achievement in Visual Effects, a category it wasn't even shortlisted for at the Oscars. With 3 nominations at the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Film Awards for Best Fantasy Film, Best Younger Performer in a Film for Thames, and Best Film Visual and Special Effects, and an Annie nominee for Outstanding Achievement for Character Animation in a Live-Action Production, the film is also competing for a pair of Guild Awards. It's nominated for Best Achievement in Decor or Design of a Fantasy or Science Fiction Feature Film by the Set Decorator Society of America, and Excellence in Sci-Fi Fantasy Film by the Costume Designers Guild. So where do I land for this one? While I wanted something more, and the visuals are stunning, this was more a middle ground film for me. I have to give it 3 stars. If there had maybe been a bit more in the plot, in the mix, I could have seen it going to a 4. I mean, for the visuals and the action sequences, a 5, but ultimately this film, it's a 3. It's good. It's not great, it's not outstanding, but it's enjoyable. Great film for the kids. All right. Thank you all for joining me for episode 70 of Award Season Review Season 4. We have 29 days left, so stay with me. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts in the comments, share these with your friends. You can follow me everywhere on social platforms, Letterboxd, and head over to my website, cinephilemike.com, for even more reviews and movie goodies. I'll see everyone tomorrow with the new theme and the next review, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.